All right, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, my supervisor and all of examiners. Today, I would like to present my thesis entitled The Impacts of Social Class on the Main Characters Seen in Nicholas Sparks' The Notebook. So the first topic, we're going to talking about introduction. Start from the background of the study. Social issues can be found in everyday life and often occur around us. A social class refers to the hierarchical distinctions between groups in society, particularly between the lower working class and the upper class. The literary work that explores social class is The Notebook. The novel was written by Nicholas Sparks and was published in 1996. The novel shows the difference in social class between the upper class and the lower class, which causes their love story to end. In the notebook, social problems as illustrated in the narrative also existed in the American society of those days. And lately, the Great Depression could be over, but its legacies of poverty and inequality of classes were felt quite powerfully. And next is identifications of the problem. So the novel uses Noah and Ellie's love story to show how socioeconomic status may control individuals' opportunities, limit their independence, and cause conflict in relationships. The thesis examines the novel's use of social class problems and their influence on human interactions. With Marxist theory, the study will examine how social class affect the interactions between the characters, more specifically, the conflict from the upper class, from Alice's family, with the lower class, Noah. And while analyzing this thesis, I used 3 SEM books, 3 SEM topics, and 3 SEM theories for my previous studies, and also got 2 research questions. The first is, in what way does Nicholas Sparks use the notebook to depict social and economic status as a reflection of American society in the 1940s? And the second is, how does the Marxist interpretation of the novel show that issues of class struggle have influenced the main character's personal relationships, and describe the similarities and differences between this interpretation and previous non-Marxist interpretations of the text? Based on the research questions, so I can go to 2 objectives of the research. The first is exploring how Sparks can be seen to exhibit the class system and social inequality disparities through the characterizations, scenes, and the conflicts stipulated in the plot, thus presenting a reflection of the socio-economic conditions at the time. And the second is how a Marxist approach to the novel may reveal the manner in which class conflict influences individual relationships, especially the love affair between Noah and Ellie, since these 2 people have different social backgrounds. And the scope of the research is the study identifies how the social class barrier becomes both a barrier and mediator for the lovers Noah and Ellie, and the ways in which it shapes the lives of individuals in a literary work. The next is theories and methods. To analyze this thesis, I used 2 theoretical frameworks. The first is Marxist criticism by Karl Marx, and the second is social class struggle by Frederick Jameson. And also have a 3-step for my research methods. The first is collecting the data, the second is analyzing the data, and the last is presenting the data. The next is preliminary analysis, start from the plot. The story begins with an exposition showing Noah Calhoun, an 80-year-old man who lives in a North Carolina nursing home. Each day, he visits another patient, a woman who barely acknowledges him. He reads to her from a notebook about a love story every day. This report attracts Ellie Nelson, who is Noah's lost love from years ago. And however, Ellie is now engaged to Lon Hammond. While she is watching it, Ellie is having a dilemma between her feelings for Noah and her commitment to Lon. And after all, they come from different classes. But after that, Ellie finally decides to leave her engagement behind and return to Noah. So it is revealed that the woman Noah reads to every day is Ellie, who suffers from Alzheimer's disease. Despite her memory loss, Noah continues to recount their love story. The novel concludes with the couple passing away together peacefully. And also, this novel has 5 characters. The first is Ellie Nelson, the second is Noah Calhoun, the third is Mr. and Mrs. Nelson, the fourth is Finn, and last is Lon Hammond Jr. The novel setting in New Bern, North Carolina, and the main themes of this novel is social class on the main characters. And the point of view, the novel has a double narrative structure, which are first person and third person point of view. The first person point of view is mostly from Noah through the prison time scenes in the nursing home. In the contrast, the flashbacks of Noah and Alice's younger years are told from a third person omniscience point of view. So this point of view allows for insight into other characters' minds as well as the social environments that guide their decisions. Next is social class of North Carolina society in 1940s. The upper class in 1940s North Carolina. In short, wealthy, educated, and culturally leading was the upper crust of 1940s North Carolina. Their style of life was not just determined by material prosperity, but by traditions of exclusivity which have settled strongly in their way of life. With land ownership, education, marriage requirements, and cultural power, the Southern elite were able to clearly establish its social status as unchallenged and thus one of the most solid bastions of stratification within the state. And the working class in 1940s North Carolina. The working class of North Carolina in 1940s lived lives of endurance and resilience. While they played essential roles in the economy and community life, their opportunities were limited by structural inequalities, lack of education, and cultural prejudice. And next is social barriers and their wider impacts. Ultimately, the 1940s in North Carolina exemplify how rigid class structures shaped not only the economy but also the personal and cultural lives of individuals. These structures determined who had access to educations, whose marriages were socially sanctioned, and whose families were celebrated as community leaders. And the next is the impacts of social class on the main characters seen in Nicholas Sparks' The Notebook. The first is the portrayal of social class in Noah Calhoun's character as the lower class. So Noah works as a laborer in a lumber mill and his wages depend on the amount of food he can work with. For the lower class, they usually look for jobs that can provide a steady income to fulfill their basic daily needs and improve their living conditions, and they will not care about the prestige and high income as long as they have money and can buy their needs. And next is the portrayal of social class in Ellie Nelson's character as an upper class. In the novel, the character Ellie is portrayed as a figure from the upper class group who lives in a rich family environment and has a high social status. So this can be seen from Ellie's education and future, which is very organized, and Ellie's daily activities are always monitored by her parents. And the social class differences influence the main character's relationship in the notebook. Many things happen, such as family conflict, change in attitude, and the path each person takes in life. The novel narrates the relationship between the different social classes between Ellie Nelson, who comes from the upper class, and Noah Calhoun who comes from the lower class. And Ellie is the daughter of a wealthy businessman, while Noah is a laborer in a wood factory. And the last is conclusion and suggestion. So the conclusion is The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks is a novel that focuses on the love journey of the two main characters, Ellie and Noah. And the novel tells the story of the struggle for love between two people from different social classes. And however, in this work, the author uses Marxist criticism by Karl Marx and Frederick Jameson on social inequality to analyze how social class influences relationships and the personal lives of individuals, which are romanticized by the main characters in this novel. And for the suggestion, I have 4 suggestions here. The first is to prove future researchers to help to get a larger scope of the issue of social class influence on romantic relationship in literature. The second, for the readers to comprehend larger issues of inequality of classes, so not only in terms of romance but also in terms of opportunities. The third is to the teachers and literature teachers to discussing in the classroom how socioeconomic status affect choices people make and their relationships. And the last is literary critics might bring to light repeated patterns of social movements, ideological statements, or criticism with his romantic words. I think that's all, and thank you.